The story begins with Ethan, a human mechanic, running for his life through the crowded streets of an alien city. The neon lights flicker above him as he dashes past strange alien markets and towering buildings. He's being chased by a squad of elite Xylarian soldiers, known for their ruthless efficiency and superior technology. Ethan's heart pounds as he glances over his shoulder. The soldiers are closing in, their footsteps echoing loudly in the night. They're fast, but Ethan has one advantage: his quick thinking and a hacked cloaking device. As he ducks into an alley, the world seems to blur around him. His heart races, but he can't stop. If they catch him, it's over. He activates the cloaking device, making him invisible to the soldiers' high-tech sensors. For a moment, he's safe, but he knows this won't last long. The Xylarians are always one step ahead. The city is alive, buzzing with the technology of the Xylarian Empire. Humans, like Ethan, are living in the shadows, struggling to survive. For years, humans have been under the control of the Xylarian Empire, using stolen alien technology just to get by. The Empire promised peace, but it was built on lies. Ethan, a simple mechanic, never imagined he would be caught in something much bigger than a routine repair job. But today, he overheard a conversation that could change everything. Suspense, as Ethan catches his breath in the alley, he thinks back to the moment everything changed. Earlier that day, he had a casual conversation with Vorax, a high-ranking Xylarian diplomat. Ethan never thought much of Vorax; he was just another alien who liked to watch humans and make notes about their behavior. But Vorax wasn't just studying humans. He was studying their resilience, their ability to survive in harsh conditions, even under alien rule. Ethan had always believed the Xylarian Empire was something like a peacekeeper, helping weaker species. He never questioned their authority. That is, until today. Vorax, in a casual conversation, let slip some dangerous truths. As they sat in a cafe, Vorax spoke about the Xylarian Empire's rise to power. At first, Ethan thought it was just another boast. But the more Vorax spoke, the more it became clear that what he was saying was more than just a story. Vorax casually mentioned how the Xylarians didn't become powerful through fair means. They didn't just outsmart other species, they stole knowledge and technology from weaker species across the galaxy. They had been stealing from humanity too, keeping the human race from advancing beyond a certain point. Humanity was never given the chance to evolve on its own. Instead, they were kept in check, using advanced alien tech to suppress their progress. Ethan's mind raced as the pieces fell into place. He had always known the Xylarians were more advanced, but this was something else. They weren't just advanced, they were manipulative. They weren't benevolent rulers. They were oppressors who had kept humans in the dark. Ethan was shocked. He had learned something that could shatter the entire relationship between humans and the Xylarian Empire. Suddenly, Ethan's world seemed much more dangerous. He realized that if he didn't do something with this information, everything could be lost. But he also knew the risk of speaking out. The Xylarian Empire had spies everywhere. If they found out he knew the truth, they would come for him. That's when Ethan began to understand, he was no longer just a mechanic. He had become a target. As the chase continues, Ethan thinks about the life-or-death decision ahead. Should he expose the truth about the Xylarian Empire, risking his life and the safety of everyone he knows? Or should he stay quiet, knowing that the truth could destroy everything humanity has worked for? Ethan is left with no choice but to run and figure out what to do next. The audience is left on the edge of their seats, wondering what Ethan will do with the information he's learned. The suspense builds as Ethan's journey into uncovering the dark secrets of the Xylarian Empire begins, because in this galaxy, the truth can be a weapon that could change everything. The next morning, Ethan can't shake the feeling of unease. He keeps replaying his conversation with Vorax in his mind, the shocking details haunting him. Vorax had made it sound like the Xylarian Empire was simply ahead of humanity in terms of technology, but something didn't add up. Ethan had always admired the Xylarians for their supposed wisdom and peaceful reign, but now, things were starting to look much darker. As he works on a broken engine in his workshop, his hands tremble slightly. He can't stop thinking about the words Vorax casually dropped: the Xylarians didn't rise to power because of their technological superiority. No, they had gained their control by manipulating other species, especially humans. They had sabotaged humanity's progress, stopping Earth from advancing past a certain point by secretly tampering with technology. The Xylarians had used their advanced AI and robotic systems to control human development from the shadows. Ethan's stomach churns. He never thought about it before, but now that he has the truth, it's impossible to ignore. How could humanity have been so blind? The advanced robots humans relied on for everyday tasks were not gifts of peace, as they were led to believe, but tools of control. The AI systems that helped build cities, monitor agriculture, and manage defense, those were all Xylarians' creations, meant to keep the human race in check. And now, to Ethan's horror, he realizes that humans have been unknowingly aiding their own oppressors, thinking they were advancing in peace when, in reality, they were living in a carefully controlled lie. Ethan's stomach drops. How could he have been so blind? All those years, the humans thought they were advancing, but in reality, they were never given a chance to evolve freely. The very technology they relied on was being used against them. The Xylarian Empire hadn't just ruled over them, it had manipulated every step of humanity's progress. It was like a bad dream. Ethan felt like he was waking up to the truth, but that truth made everything around him feel unreal. He never thought he would find himself in a position where he had to question everything he knew about the world. And now, Ethan has to make a choice. Does he expose this secret? Does he risk his life, and the safety of the entire human race, to tell the truth about the Xylarian Empire's manipulations? If he exposes what he knows, the Xylarians will come after him, and they won't stop until they silence him. They will see him as a threat to their entire empire. The weight of the decision feels suffocating. Expose the truth and risk everything, or stay silent and let humanity continue living under a false peace? Ethan doesn't know what to do. The choice is not as simple as right and wrong, it's a matter of survival. If he speaks out, the Xylarians will be alerted to his knowledge, and they'll stop at nothing to erase him. If he stays silent, humanity will remain in the dark, living under the thumb of a corrupt alien empire. It feels like a lose-lose situation. But even worse, if Ethan does nothing, he'll live the rest of his life knowing he could have changed everything but chose not to. Internal conflict. As Ethan sits alone in his workshop, his mind races. There are so many questions now, so many doubts about the things he once took for granted. He thought the Xylarians were just like any other empire, ruling from a place of strength, but fair. But now, the truth is clear, they've been manipulating humanity for decades, maybe longer. The question is, how long has the government known about this? And why haven't they done anything about it? Ethan begins to feel like a fool. Was his government really this weak? The human military, the scientists, the leaders, how could they have let this happen? They never noticed the hidden control, the quiet manipulation by the Xylarians. They had been too complacent, too comfortable. Why hadn't they pushed for more freedom, more independence? Why hadn't anyone questioned the quiet peace they were living under? The more Ethan thinks, the more he realizes that everyone around him has been living in ignorance. The humans never had a chance to evolve freely because their government had been too willing to trust the Xylarians. But Ethan can't bring himself to trust everything Vorax said, either. Vorax is a Xylarian diplomat. He may have revealed the truth, but could he be playing some kind of game? Maybe he's just trying to manipulate Ethan into doing something rash. Maybe the Xylarians are only revealing part of the truth to create confusion, to break human resolve. Ethan has no way of knowing what parts of Vorax's story were true and what were lies. The truth seems so big and so dangerous. How can one man like Ethan know what's real? Ethan feels completely alone. He's caught between his doubts about his government, his fears about Vorax's motives, and the crushing weight of the secret he now carries. He doesn't have the evidence to prove anything, he only has his word and the words of a Xylarian diplomat. And yet, his gut tells him that the truth must come out. But at what cost? Will the human race be ready to face the truth when the time comes? Or will they, like him, be caught in a web of uncertainty, unable to act? Ethan's search for answers leads him to the dark alleys and hidden corners of the alien city. Through whispered conversations and secret signals, he discovers a group of humans who call themselves the Sparks, a small but determined resistance movement working in the shadows. They've been operating quietly for years, gathering bits of information about the Xylarian Empire's oppressive rule and its hidden motives. The Sparks are a mix of mechanics, former soldiers, and everyday workers who have seen through the lies of the Xylarians. They've pieced together parts of the puzzle, but they're still missing the critical evidence to prove the full extent of the Empire's control. When Ethan shares what he learned from Vorax, the room falls silent. His revelation fills in the gaps in their theories. The Sparks now have a clearer picture. The Xylarians have been sabotaging humanity's progress, using their advanced AI and robotics to control human development and suppress their potential. Ethan realizes that the information he carries makes him more than just a mechanic, it makes him the key to exposing the Xylarian Empire. But the Sparks are under no illusions about their situation. They are massively outnumbered and outgunned. Their equipment is old, cobbled together from stolen Xylarian tech. Their hideouts are temporary, constantly on the move to avoid detection. Yet, they are ready to fight. For years, they've been waiting for a breakthrough, and now, with Ethan's knowledge, they finally have a chance to strike back. Their first mission together is risky. They need to infiltrate a Xylarian data hub to confirm Ethan's information and extract more evidence about the Empire's manipulation. The hub is heavily guarded, with stealth drones patrolling the skies and AI-powered turrets monitoring every entrance. The team devises a bold plan using cloaking devices and high-tech sabotage. As the mission begins, the tension rises. Ethan and his allies move through the shadows, their cloaking devices making them nearly invisible to Xylarian sensors. Every step feels like a gamble. The faint hum of surveillance drones echoes above, and the team freezes whenever they hear footsteps. One mistake, and their mission, and possibly their lives, will be over. Inside the hub, things don't go as planned. A hidden alarm trips, and suddenly, the base goes into lockdown. The team is forced to split up. Ethan finds himself cornered in a narrow corridor as a squad of Xylarian soldiers closes in. He uses his technical skills to override a nearby terminal, temporarily shutting down the lights and creating a moment of chaos. In the pitch black, he slips past the soldiers, his heart pounding. Outside, the rest of the team is under attack. The Xylarians deploy their hunter drones, which can track even the faintest human movements. Ethan's quick thinking saves the day again. He hacks into the drone's command system, turning them against their owners. The sudden reversal buys the team enough time to regroup and escape, but not without losses. One of their members is gravely injured, and the team barely makes it out alive. As the dust settles, Ethan begins to understand the scale of the fight ahead. The Xylarians are relentless, their technology overwhelming. But for the first time, Ethan sees what humans are capable of when they work together. The Sparks may be outnumbered, but their courage, creativity, and resilience make them a force to be reckoned with. The act ends with Ethan holding a stolen data core containing evidence that could expose the Xylarian Empire's darkest secrets. But as the group retreats to their hidden base, they know the Xylarians won't stop hunting them. The stakes are higher than ever, and the fight has only just begun. The story begins on Thera Colony, a human settlement nestled on the surface of an alien world under the faint glow of two suns. The air buzzes with activity as colonists move through the metallic streets, their voices blending with the hum of advanced machinery. Towering in the distance are the sleek, crystalline towers of the Xylarians, an alien race that rules this sector of the galaxy. Though technologically advanced and powerful, the Xylarians have always remained aloof, watching over the humans with a cold and distant gaze. Ethan, the protagonist, is just an ordinary mechanic, a fixer of broken ships and malfunctioning bots. His hands are calloused, his jumpsuit stained with grease, but he takes pride in his work. Today, he's hunched over a damaged atmospheric stabilizer, trying to fix a recurring fault. Around him, other colonists chat about their daily lives, some casting wary glances toward the Xylarian watchtowers. The peace between humans and Xylarians is uneasy. The Xylarians claim to be protectors, offering humans advanced technology in exchange for submission. But many colonists whisper that this peace is built on lies. Ethan doesn't think much about politics, he's too busy fixing things and surviving day to day. Later that evening, Ethan heads to the Blue Dune Cafe, a popular spot near the colony square. It's a simple place with human-made chairs and tables, but its windows offer a view of the glowing Xylarian cityscape. Ethan orders his usual, a steaming cup of chai, and finds a seat by the window. That's when he notices Vorax, a Xylarian diplomat seated at a nearby table. Vorax's presence is hard to ignore. Like all Xylarians, he has a tall, slender frame and shimmering, translucent skin that reflects the light like glass. His eyes, glowing faintly blue, give him an air of quiet intelligence. While most Xylarians stay confined to their towers, Vorax often mingles with humans, observing them with a mix of curiosity and detachment. Ethan has seen him around before but never spoken to him. Tonight, something feels different. Vorax is alone, sipping a strange, glowing drink, and seems oddly approachable. On a whim, Ethan decides to strike up a conversation. "Busy day?" Ethan asks casually, setting his cup down. Vorax looks up, mildly surprised but not displeased. "Not particularly. Humans are interesting to observe." Ethan chuckles. "That's one way to put it. We're just trying to make things work out here. Not exactly a walk in the park." The conversation starts light. Ethan talks about his work as a mechanic, how humans always seem to find ways to fix things, even when resources are scarce. He shares stories about human ingenuity, how humans have always found ways to survive, adapt, and even outsmart challenges. "We're stubborn like that," Ethan jokes. "Put us in a tough spot, and we'll find a way to turn it around." Vorax listens intently, his glowing eyes narrowing thoughtfully. After a pause, he leans in slightly, his voice lower. "You humans have an unusual trait, resilience. It's fascinating. But I wonder, do you know how much of your progress has truly been your own?" Ethan frowns. "What's that supposed to mean?" Vorax's lips curl into a faint, enigmatic smile. "Off the record, of course. Your species has always been impressive in its ability to adapt. But you've been adapting to challenges you never knew were placed before you. What are you getting at?" Ethan asks, leaning forward. Vorax hesitates, as if weighing his words. Then, in a tone that feels both casual and ominous, he says, "Let's just say that the Xylarian Empire has guided humanity's growth. Subtly, of course. Your successes, your struggles, they've all been part of a larger framework." Ethan's chest tightens. "Are you saying the Xylarians have been manipulating us?" Vorax tilts his head, his expression unreadable. "Manipulation is such a crude term. Think of it as ensuring balance. After all, left unchecked, chaos is inevitable." Ethan feels a chill run down his spine. The words hang in the air, heavy and unsettling. What was supposed to be a casual chat now feels like the start of something far bigger and far more dangerous than Ethan could have ever imagined. As Vorax finishes his drink and rises to leave, he places a hand on Ethan's shoulder, his cold, translucent fingers sending a jolt through him. "Be careful what you dig into, human. Some truths are best left buried." Ethan sits frozen, his mind racing. The seemingly normal day has taken a dark and unexpected turn, and he knows one thing for sure: his life is about to change forever. Ethan can't shake the unease from his conversation with Vorax. The Xylarian diplomat's cryptic words echo in his mind as he sits alone in his modest workshop, the faint glow of a half-repaired bot flickering beside him. Vorax's tone wasn't smug or boastful, it was calm, calculated, and disturbingly certain. The next day, Ethan finds himself back at the Blue Dune Cafe, hoping for clarity. Sure enough, Vorax appears again, his graceful movements drawing attention from nearby patrons. Ethan cautiously approaches and asks him to elaborate on their previous conversation. Vorax smiles faintly, as if expecting the question. "Your kind," Vorax begins, swirling his glowing drink, "has always been resilient. But do you truly believe humanity's progress has been entirely its own?" Ethan frowns, unsure how to respond. "Let me enlighten you," Vorax continues, his voice low and deliberate. "The Xylarian Empire didn't rise to power because we were the most innovative or the most advanced. No, our strength comes from efficiency. Why waste time discovering what others have already created? We've perfected the art of acquisition." Ethan leans forward, his pulse quickening. "What are you saying? That you stole your technology?" Vorex's glowing eyes meet Ethan's, unflinching. Borrowed, refined, adapted. Call it what you will. We've built our empire by streamlining the contributions of weaker species. Many of those species no longer exist. Humanity should consider itself fortunate. The weight of the statement hits Ethan like a blow. Vorex's words are laced with both warning and disdain. What about us? Ethan asks, his voice shaking. Have you been taking from us too? Vorex chuckles softly, a sound that sends a chill down Ethan's spine. Let's just say the path of your history has been nudged. Whenever humanity reached a threshold, when you were on the verge of surpassing your limits, we ensured you stumbled. A failed experiment here, a subtle misdirection there. Balance, after all, is paramount. Ethan feels the ground beneath him shift. His mind races through the lessons he learned in school, the carefully curated stories of humanity's technological struggles and achievements. The failed space missions, the sudden disappearances of promising inventors, the countless wars that delayed progress, it all starts to feel orchestrated. He stares at Vorex, searching for any hint of a lie, but the alien's expression remains unreadable. Why are you telling me this? Ethan demands. Vorex shrugs, as if the answer is obvious. Curiosity. Call it an experiment of my own. I wanted to see how your kind would react to the truth. Ethan's hands clench into fists. This isn't just a revelation, it's a challenge. That night, Ethan lies awake in his cramped quarters, staring at the ceiling. Vorex's words haunt him. If what the Xylarian said is true, humanity's entire history has been shaped by an invisible hand, their brightest moments dimmed by alien interference. What should he do with this knowledge? If he exposes the truth, it could ignite chaos. The Xylarian Empire wouldn't hesitate to crush any sign of rebellion. But if he stays silent, he'd be complicit in their manipulation. His mind wrestles with the risks. Who would even believe him? The Xylarians have long been seen as peaceful overlords, offering guidance and protection to humanity. Ethan knows that revealing their dark secrets would make him a target not just of the Xylarians, but possibly of his own people, who might see him as a threat to their fragile peace. Yet, deep down, Ethan feels a growing anger. The thought of humanity being robbed of its potential fills him with defiance. He isn't a soldier or a hero, he's just a mechanic. But maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what humanity needs, someone ordinary to uncover an extraordinary truth. As dawn breaks, Ethan makes a decision. He can't ignore what he's learned. He doesn't know how yet, but he has to find proof, something undeniable that will force the galaxy to see the Xylarians for what they truly are. The camera lingers on Ethan's determined face as he pulls out a battered old comm device. The first step in his journey has begun, though he has no idea how dangerous the road ahead will be. The tension reaches its peak as Ethan and the Resistance prepare for their most dangerous mission yet, infiltrating a heavily fortified Xylarian military base on the outskirts of the alien city. The target is a data vault, hidden deep within the base, which holds the records of the Xylarian Empire's manipulations, proof that they've been controlling not just humanity but countless other species across the galaxy. Ethan leads a small team of Resistance fighters, each carrying stolen Xylarian cloaking devices and makeshift weapons. The plan is simple: evade detection, breach the vault, and upload the data to the Resistance's broadcasting satellites. But nothing goes as planned. As they approach the base, their cloaking devices begin to flicker. Xylarian AI surveillance drones have detected their presence. The alarm sounds, and the serene alien cityscape erupts into chaos. Elite robotic soldiers with glowing eyes pour out of the base, their precision unmatched. The Resistance fights back with ingenuity, using EMP grenades and makeshift explosives to disable the machines. Ethan, despite not being a soldier, takes out several bots with a stolen plasma rifle, his mechanic's instincts allowing him to target their weak points. The team presses forward, navigating through a labyrinth of corridors guarded by automated turrets and AI-controlled traps. Every step is a battle, and the air is thick with smoke, fire, and the cries of fallen comrades. As they near the data vault, tragedy strikes. Bonner, a seasoned soldier and a mentor to many in the Resistance, sacrifices himself to save the team. An enemy drone targets Ethan, and Bonner, without hesitation, steps into the line of fire. The plasma bolt hits him square in the chest, and he collapses, his final words urging Ethan to finish the mission. The loss of Bonner hits the team hard, especially Ethan, who has grown close to him during their fight for freedom. Tears sting his eyes as he drags Bonner's body out of the line of fire, but there's no time to mourn. The team suffers more casualties as they breach the vault. The once small group is now reduced to just Ethan and a handful of fighters. Every death deepens their resolve, the sacrifices serving as a reminder of what's at stake. Inside the vault, rows of glowing data terminals hum with energy. Ethan moves quickly, plugging in a portable transmitter provided by the Resistance's tech expert. He uploads the data while the others hold off the advancing Xylarian troops outside. The screen in front of Ethan flashes with images and recordings, the Xylarian Empire sabotaging human space missions, rigging AI systems to create failures, and engineering wars to delay progress. The truth is overwhelming, but there's no time to process it. With a deep breath, Ethan presses the final command. The data begins to broadcast across the galaxy, hijacking every Xylarian-controlled system. Screens light up in human colonies, Xylarian cities, and even neutral planets, showing the damning evidence. The carefully constructed facade of the Xylarian Empire crumbles in an instant. Ethan and his remaining team barely escape the vault as the base goes into lockdown. Outside, explosions rock the city as resistance cells across the planet rise up, emboldened by the broadcast. As Ethan watches from a safe distance, the Xylarian city burns, and a sense of bittersweet triumph washes over him. They've lost so much Bonner and countless others, but their sacrifices weren't in vain. The galaxy now knows the truth, and the seeds of rebellion have been planted. Ethan turns to the remaining fighters, his voice steady despite the pain in his heart. "This is just the beginning," he says. "We've shown them the truth. Now it's time to fight for our freedom." This climax balances intense action with emotional depth, showcasing Ethan's transformation from an ordinary mechanic to a reluctant hero. The loss of Bonner and the high stakes keep the audience emotionally invested, while the broadcast delivers a satisfying and impactful turning point for the story. The broadcast of the Xylarian Empire's manipulative history sends shockwaves across the galaxy. On planets where humans live under Xylarian control, the truth ignites a fire of rebellion. Colonists, miners, and workers, once resigned to their fate, begin to rise. Small resistance cells grow into full-fledged movements, coordinated by the information Ethan and his team exposed. The Xylarians respond with force, but their iron grip begins to weaken. Their propaganda crumbles in the face of undeniable proof. Other alien species, inspired by humanity's defiance, begin questioning the Xylarian rule as well. The galaxy, once dominated by the Empire, is now a chaotic battleground of hope and resistance. On Earth, humanity rallies like never before. Governments and independent factions unite, pooling their resources to adapt stolen Xylarian technology. Using the enemy's own advanced AI and robotics against them, humanity begins to level the playing field. Ethan, though hailed as a hero, doesn't feel victorious. The cost has been too high. He remembers the faces of those who sacrificed their lives: Bonner, the resistance fighters, and countless others who believed in the cause. Their absence weighs heavily on him, even as he witnesses the beginning of a new era for humanity. The resistance, though small, has sparked something much larger than themselves, the realization that freedom is possible, but it will come at a price. The war isn't over, far from it, but the tide has turned. Months later, the camera follows Ethan as he walks through a makeshift human colony built on the ruins of a former Xylarian base. People move around him, rebuilding their lives amid the rubble. Children play near broken alien machines, and engineers work tirelessly to retrofit Xylarian tech for human use. Ethan stops at a quiet corner of the colony where a memorial has been erected. Names are etched into a large, black stone, names of those who gave their lives for the cause. Bonner's name stands out, carved deeply, a testament to his bravery. Ethan places a hand on the stone, his face reflecting both grief and determination. He closes his eyes, remembering Bonner's last words: "Finish the mission." Behind him, the sky darkens as massive human-engineered starships, enhanced with Xylarian technology, lift off into space. They are heading toward the next battleground, a testament to humanity's newfound strength and resolve. Ethan turns, his silhouette framed against the glowing horizon. His voice, quiet but firm, carries a promise: we've lost so much, but we're not done. For every name on this stone, we'll keep fighting. And we'll win. The camera pulls back, revealing the vast expanse of space. Distant stars shimmer, hinting at countless worlds still under Xylarian control. But among them is the light of rebellion, a light that Ethan and the Resistance have ignited. As the screen fades to black, a single message appears: this is just the beginning.